All right, folks, can you hear me loud and clear now? Let me know. All right, I think that's a go. Sorry about before, people. I don't know what the heck happened. I don't know if I was fiddling with too many settings or anything like that. But welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel, guys. And of course, you know the title, and it is, of course, talking about episode 6 of Wandavision. Spoilers included, and if you hadn't already guessed it. But guys, the last episode was probably the most monumental episode, and this is definitely kind of in that same line, raising the bar again every week as it is. But as far as that stuff goes, you know, with this episode, it's definitely still a lot to talk about, especially after that big cameo from Evan Peters' Quicksilver and everything, kind of with the worlds colliding aspect of it. But overall, let's jump into this episode of WandaVision. So as far as WandaVision episode 6 goes, this theme was more of a, I would say, a Malcolm in the Middle type of theme. It was focusing more on the kids, Tommy and Billy, doing their little thing, which again, Malcolm in the Middle was kind of like that. And if it really wasn't, you know, for anything else, there was a lot of comedy and a lot of kind of immature kind of silliness going on in there, again akin to Malcolm in the Middle. But I was all for it. Again, every episode that comes on through is essentially a time capsule or a new reality that we're seeing kind of pulse or kind of reverberate, or I don't know what the word is, to kind of basically shuffle along with all these characters in here, because that's what this pocket dimension is. It's like a little pocket dimension with cosmic frequencies, and every single episode that we see, it's like almost every single day there's a new reality that is created. You had your black and white reality with the I Love Lucy, you had your Bewitched reality which became color, you had the Brady Bunch-esque type of thing last week, you had the 80s with Family Ties, and then of course this week is 90s / New Millennium with Malcolm in the Middle, which I think is again still working strong for the whole show overall. And can we just give some love to the throwbacks, the poor man's versions of the costumes, which incidentally look like versions of the costumes when these characters were originally like conceived and stuff. I mean, especially with Wanda's costume, which she said she was a Sokovian fortune teller or whatever, and then she did a little pose like Wanda would do in the comics and everything. And I thought that Vision's costume was amazingly hilarious. And then of course, Quicksilver had to one up all of them in that case with the ludicrousness of his costume and the fact that they had to give him the big hair and everything like he had in the original comics. So I thought that was pretty awesome and funny. Of course, this episode continues the next steps, which one might have guessed, with old dude running the show for S.W.O.R.D. And of course, what do they all do? They want to take down a superhero, whether it's from pride, whether it's from them really thinking that they're going to be a threat, whatever it is. And of course, he's not listening to old photon lady Monica Rambeau, because that would just be too simple. That would just be too simple and too easy for him to actually have some common sense and say, hey, since Wanda's the one that's kind of doing all this, she's going to really be our help as far as this goes. So why don't we try and see if we can work on, bringing her back to some type of, common sense. But no, that couldn't work. That couldn't work at all, right? Not at all. And then, of course, there's this whole little through line where Wanda is very suspicious of Pietro because he's not like he used to be in the real world as far as any of this stuff. But the funny thing is that how they're playing this is, and there's a lot of points in this, is like she's trying to test him about recollections of certain things, and she's even saying, I don't exactly remember it like that. Are you sure you're my brother? Yada, yada, yada. And I really like the fact that it's really selling it, and that he's kind of cognizant. He's like, I don't know why I look like this. I got shot in the street like a punk, and then all of a sudden I knew you needed me, so I came for you and everything, or I came to you. And then he's even saying, I am your brother, I just don't know, why I look like this and whatnot. But in that aspect too, she even said, she's like, where's your accent? And then he said, where's yours? And that's a valid point. This is like a dream fairy tale land created by, again, what we're assuming is Wanda, but I don't think it's 100% under her control like we've gotten with some hints here. She's saying that she's not controlling everything. She's saying that, that's not something that she intended, was the doorbell ring and everything like that in the last episode, and little bits here and there. Although Vision is very suspicious, highly suspicious, to the point where he's very curious in this episode, so he kind of goes off on his own and everything like that. And that's when we experience some bits where I say it's glitching in the Matrix, essentially. Because this shit right here, where it's like a Instagram boomerang, where it's like repeating that same motion, and then this woman starts crying, along with the other people that are like literally frozen in time across to the deeper cul-de-sacs of the, town. Very freaky, very unsettling and everything like that. And I definitely say that as far as that goes, it's adding to the creep factor. It's adding to that, kind of aspect. All you need is a black cat to come through twice, and then I could be sold that it is a computer-generated dream world, where I'm going to see Neo flying through the air, doing some kicks and flying and doing a Superman thing against Agent Smith. One big thing that stuck out to me, though, was, how every episode we have all these commercials. We had the Hydra wash, I think it was. Then it was the Von Strucker watch. Hydra. Forgive me, I don't remember everything. But you had the Von Strucker watch. Then you had the Lagos paper towels to clean up the messes you didn't mean to happen, which was very low blowish. But then you had this one, which is like Yo Magic, which is a play on Yo Play, obviously. But Yo Magic, basically the premise of this cartoon, little commercial here, really got to me, because you got this kid who's on a deserted island, then you get the shark coming up, he's like, I used to be just like you, kid. And then the kid's like, well, how did you survive? Yo Magic. And then he's like, can I have some of that? Sure. And then literally the kid tries to open this food up for days, weeks, and months, and essentially he dies becoming a skeleton. So I could take this one of two ways. One, Yo Magic is not a real solution, and it's really killing whoever is using it or trying to use it. Or two, which is kind of akin and on the same branch of thought processing for me at least, is that this thing is feeding off of Yo Magic. Something is feeding off of Yo, which is you, which is her, which is Scarlet, which is magic, and there's some problems going on. Could be reading into it too much, don't know really, but that's where I took this little bit as far as that Yo Magic commercial. I think that really, again, is kind of bringing me around to the fact that I don't think that Wanda is 100% in control, because even she admits that this whole reality, spewing world kind of came out of a dark place where there was just nothing, and then all of a sudden stuff just kind of manifested itself. And again, I'm hoping that Wanda isn't the villain we all are believing her to be. It's just a red herring, hopefully, but that remains to be seen. And yeah, so continuing on with Vision's kind of little journey here, he's journeying on all edges of the town, just getting rid of his facade essentially, and then he notices that Agnes is in a car on a street right across or parallel to or perpendicular to Ellis Ave, which is the avenue that Wanda told the kids not to cross, because it is a boundary and a border to the real world. And if they go out of there, I think bad things are going to happen, as we see later in this episode. And very freaky. When Agnes is brought out of her trance, as it were, with a Vision, she says, oh my god, you're one of the Avengers. Can you do something? Are you here to help us? He literally says, he's like, I want to help you. And then he says, who are the Avengers? So that's not quite a good thing there. Because either he doesn't remember the Avengers, or, of course, Wanda or whoever's pulling the strings just is forcing him not to remember. Just like when Agnes said some shit about, she doesn't let us think about leaving, she doesn't let us think about this and that. Coupled with the fact that now more than ever on some of these episodes, people are breaking their character and asking Wanda if they want them to try it again or take it from the top or do whatever stuff like that. So definitely keeping the creep factor going on, of course. And then when we go to the real world, we've got Darcy, Monica, and the FBI agent. And as far as this goes, we're finding out that after both trips into the world or the reality bending world, Monica's DNA has changed not once but twice. So if she went in there again, some stuff's going to happen. And again, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Photon, aka the true original Captain Marvel, female Captain Marvel, that is, may surface sooner rather than later. Just just saying. But that also can be used, like I've talked with some of my other friends and some of my other people that I know who are watching this, as a way of introducing the mutants. If this thing gets big enough and kind of, explodes with this cosmic radiation of this energy, that's probably going to explain the mutant X gene and everything, and how all these people, these normal people, are going to grow to the next level of evolution, becoming mutants or whatever. Or it's going to be like a bubble burst, and then the reality is going to kind of get torn apart and then have to rewrite itself and all that other stuff. I don't know. I'm not trying to think too hard because I really enjoy the show, and I don't want to be one of those people that's a conspiracy theorist or just theorizing, and then all of a sudden when it's not the way that I had hoped and wanted, then it's like, blows up in my face. Yeah, there were a lot of good moments in this episode, especially the part where she is, again, talking to Pietro in his new form at the little Halloween get-together, and he even points out, like, now she's having kids come out and everything, and he's kind of like saying stuff here and there about, there's worse things that could have been done. I actually admire what you're doing. You have these kids here, you have people here having a better life, having money, him being able to take care of their kids, So it's almost like he's like the devil on her shoulder trying to tell her that what she's doing is right. So, again, some fishy stuff is going on here. But as the course of this kind of goes on, she's still having that issue of remorse and seeing the dead, and she sees him riddled with bullet holes and just with, milky white eyes and everything. Kind of like what she did with seeing the dead form of Vision a couple episodes back. Speaking of which, all the time that Vision has been going around the town, apparently Sword has the ability to track him and is kind of seeing things around him in the proximity, or the individuals that are approximately, or in his proximity rather. I don't know why I said approximately, but so that's definitely something that wasn't known before, and apparently there's some dark stuff going on as far as that is. And there's a Project Cataract, which definitely seems like it's going to have a big significance in the coming episodes. After that, of course, at the end of the show, Vision is trying to just see what the hell's going on, so he ends up trying to remove himself from the reality. In so doing, he's breaking the barrier, and he's only getting so far because without him being inside of that contained world, he's not really alive in our world anymore, so shit is going crazy. And as he's trying to fight his way through, bits and pieces of him are coming back into the reality or ripping apart because he's not, again, alive. His existence is tied to the reality of Wanda's world, essentially. And I can't say it enough. It's going to be heartbreaking when all this stuff drops and, everything kind of blows up in everybody's face, especially Wanda pulling the strings on this. And as we all know, this is going to lead exactly into Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, if I remember the title correctly. So all of this going on right here, I don't know. And you know what that brings me to my next kind of thing is, is it Baron Mordo? Is he controlling things right now? Is he pulling the strings maybe? People have said it's Mephisto. People think it's Agnes. People think that it's Agnes and the dude running a sword that's trying to run this operation that's doing everything, which is very, very incredible and unbelievable at the same time, if that is true. And then, of course, Darcy gets pulled in because she tried to go and help Vision, even though her Agent Wu and Monica were actually kicked off of the whole mission, as it were, when Monica started bringing up some good points to the idiot in charge, of course. But yep, she gets sucked in as what is crazy happens is that Wanda, to save Vision, expands the reach of the anomaly, and basically that causes the world to re-envelop Vision for him to heal and be alive still and be protected, but also for it to go through the entire encampment of sword agents and everything. And as it does that, it reaches the telephone poles, which become, flag poles for the camp, which becomes a circus, and of course all the soldiers and everything become circus members and clowns as they're trying to run away from it happening. And the dude in charge and some of his subordinates, and of course Monica and Wu, they drive off as that is trailing them. So who knows, maybe by the next episode they're gonna get sucked right back in and then some shit's gonna go down. But definitely nail biting stuff going on over there for sure. But overall, I think that this episode again was very, very good, guys. I thought that it brought it again. This show is getting, better and better with each episode, and it's very awesome. I can't say enough about it. And if this is how WandaVision is, which was definitely one of those abstract kind of, concepts, then it's clear that something like a Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to just knock the socks off of all of us, because it looks really awesome. And as far as the prediction for the next episodes and everything, I think we might see at least a little snippet of Doctor Strange at some point. Maybe. I don't know. I can't. Again, I don't want to be stretching my theories here too much here, because it's probably not going to happen or whatever. But it would be real awesome to see Doctor Strange make an appearance at the end of the show, and then again it ties into Multiverse of Madness directly. But I digress for sure. But overall, guys, another great episode of WandaVision. I forget how many episodes we're getting. I don't know if we're getting like 8 to 10. I should probably look that up then, especially if I'm going to be covering these in this capacity. But anyway, guys, what did you think about episode 6 of WandaVision? Let me know down in the comments below. And of course, guys, as always, if you dug the video, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are subbed, make sure you hit that bell button. That way you never miss a moment of my content. But until next time, guys, as always, I'm Jay. So take care, and bye.